What's up, my friends? Welcome to Let's Be Real. This is episode 11. We are talking about forgiveness today. And man, I am so excited to introduce you to this new friend of mine named Jean Paul Samputu. And it is completely serendipitous how I met Jean Paul. I was actually doing some research for my next book, which comes out in the summer of 2021. And I was looking at kind of the rigorous work of what it takes to grow in our relationships. And there's I've been fascinated for a long time with the reconciliation project that took place in South Africa post-apartheid, where there was a nationwide kind of movement to seek forgiveness and to reconcile people groups after such a devastating experience of apartheid. Now, people will say, did it really work? Was it helpful? But what I care so much about is that it was a try. Like, there was an actual attempt to bring forth and allow grief to be shared, lament to be shared, and for people to seek forgiveness from one another in this really terrible time in South Africa's history. And because of that kind of was the work of Desmond Tutu, Nelson Mandela. Because of that, I was familiar with that project. And so as I was doing some research for my book, I came upon a forgiveness project that is a global kind of storytelling movement to tell stories of forgiveness and redemption. And in doing so, I was kind of scrolling through the pictures. I'll add this forgiveness project to the show notes. I was scrolling through the pictures and I was just taken by the expression on one man's face, read his story, found him on Facebook, sent him a note. I'm like, hey, Jean Paul, and wrote about him in this manuscript. And he was so gracious to come on the podcast. And I hope you guys are just going to love it. I loved my time with him. This is a bit longer of a podcast. Jean Paul gives some really good historical information that if you listen to it, you're going to find like little historic artifacts that are going to remind you of other things that you may know from world history, such as World War II, Nazi Germany, some of the things that we've experienced in the segregated South, that kind of thing. So listen to that history. And then Jean Paul really tells his real story of how he moved through truly one of the most horrific and tragic stories I've ever heard about a person's loss and how he has found joy and life again. So I think you guys are going to love it. Please enjoy. And if you're liking this podcast, we would love for you to like it, send it on to a friend, etc. And you can look forward to reading about Jean Paul in my next book. So without further ado, here we go.
Welcome to Let's Be Real, a completely honest, entirely practical conversation about how to live our lives with freedom, purpose, and abundance. Popular author and communicator Nicole Eunice brings her 20 years of experience as a counselor, pastor, and coach to a real conversation about the tricky questions and tough decisions in life, and how to find clarity in action no matter what obstacle you may face. Have a topic to suggest or a tricky situation you need help with? We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email or voice memo to nicole@nicoleeunice.com, and we might feature you on the show. And now here's your host, Nicole Eunice.
Welcome to Let's Be Real. I am so glad that you are here with me today, and I cannot wait to introduce you to my new friend, truly new. We have just connected for the last couple of minutes. I'm already a huge fan, as you will be, of Jean Paul's music, of his story, particularly of his TED Talk that we will include in the show links underneath. But I'm just so glad to welcome Jean Paul to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tell me what your life looks like today, since we're all in this quarantine together. What does life look like for you on a day-to-day basis right now?
Yeah, I was telling to my friend yesterday, this is a good question because this pandemic is not the problem. What is the problem is the fear, the cause of fear. You know, it looks like I have to tell people, don't fear. The only thing that kills you is fear.
Oh my goodness.
This then, but the problem is fear.
Yes.
Everywhere. And also what is happening, the news, nobody knows what is true, what is not true, because everything, that it brings fear to people. I think what we have to tell people is just to, now it's not fighting against pandemics is fighting against a fear, because the fear can kill you more than anything.
Oh, so true.
Fear.
Well, and you have every right to lead us in this way and to lead us in this conversation. I want to introduce you to our listeners and readers with just a little background, if I can. I discovered you through the Forgiveness Project, which is an international collective that highlights stories of forgiveness from around the world. You were born in Rwanda, and your family became victims of the Rwandan genocide in 1994. And since then, you've taken a journey of forgiveness from your family's killer, who was also your best friend. And you two have traveled the world together, sort of speaking and teaching on forgiveness. You're an international musician. You sing in many languages. You bring beautiful joy everywhere you go. And what did I miss?
You miss what happened before. You cannot just come and preach forgiveness.
Yes.
I had to make a choice, because I was supposed to choose between to forgive or to die. So if I
Take us back there. Take us back there, if you would, Jean Paul, because so many people on this side of it already in this few minutes, and through my knowledge of you, there's so much, you have so much joy, and you seem so free and loving. And yet, take us back to that time, because for so many of us, including myself, we struggle deeply with what forgiveness requires. And you, of all of us, have this like extraordinary, violent, terrible story from your life. So take us back to there and how you got to be who you are now.
In 1994, as you know, we had this terrible genocide against Tutsi, and 1 million people were murdered just in 90 days. It took to kill 1 million people in 90 days. Before that, what happened? It created, we had. When people ask me what caused why people kill brothers, keep brothers? Why Rwanda? We have only 3 tribes. Rwanda is the only country in Africa where people have one language. All our neighbors, like Uganda, Congo, the population, they have like more than 100 languages. Rwanda and Burundi is the only country in Africa where you have only just 3 tribes, Hutu, Tutsi, and Twa, and we have one language. So it's difficult people to believe even what happened, because all of the other countries, they didn't have such atrocities, and they have many languages, many tribes. So Rwanda was colonized by Belgium in 19. I'm just going back to try to answer a question of somebody
Absolutely.
who asked why. So because of this uniqueness of Rwanda, being one people, having one language, it was hard to colonize them, to govern the country. They created this divide and rule. So they created problems with Hutu and Tutsi. The Hutu represent 85%, and Tutsis 14%, and the Abatwa, what we call Abatwa, the Pygmies, they represent 1%. So they wanted to divide Hutu and Tutsi. So they installed the ID. So in 1933, every Rwandan was supposed to have an ID where his ethnicity group mentioned the tribe Tutsi. So it was successful for them, because when the king that time discovered that those ID and the idea of to separate them, to say you are Hutu and you show your ID and you have your tribe there, the king decided to say no. he discovered what they wanted. So he said, no, we are all Rwandans. There's no Hutu, there's no Tutsi, there's no Twa. I want to stop this idea. I want to create others' idea. So he was killed before that. The Belgians who were colonizing Rwanda that time killed him. So when that's where everything, the war started, because when they killed him.
It sounds so familiar to apartheid in South Africa. It sounds so familiar to when I just had a friend of mine, David Bailey, who talks about cultural African-American history, and it sounds very familiar. It is using outside to divide and destroy the unity of a people. I mean, it's been, I guess, since the beginning of time, truly.
Yeah, and it worked, because that's where I can say the first genocide started there, because this created conflicts in 1959, and the brother of the king, because his brother, he was dead, he was the king, so he didn't have children. They had to find another king who is his brother, little brother.
Yeah.
So they want to kill him also. He fled the country, and all Tutsis became refugees in the neighboring countries.
Wow.
Uganda, Congo, we have Tanzania in east, Burundi in south. All Rwandan Tutsis became refugees in those countries. So it started there. So
so basically, it wasn't just 90 days, is what you're saying. Right? I mean, you're saying it wasn't just 90 days. It was a long generations of conflict that brought us to that.
I'm not talking the 1994 90 genocide, because I'm answering your question. To bring you back, what caused hatred between Hutu and how that always I call it, it's like a generational conflict, how it affected until 1994. So those refugees wanted to come back to their country. Always they would want to come back. They would say, no, you are Tutsi, you cannot come to your country. Rwanda is full. The president that time said, so they decided to come back in 1990. So because they have tried everything, they want to come back to their country, because all the country who took them as a refugee was said, you need to go to your country, that they decided to come. So in 1990, the Rwandan president that time told the whole Rwandans that the snakes, that's what they call them, these cockroaches want to come to bring kingdom again in Rwanda. The enemy is a Tutsi. So he created that hatred, then all the population start to know that even the Tutsi living in the country are enemies. He mobilized them until 1990. That's why it was successful. What they wanted to kill all Tutsis in 1994. The neighbors has to kill neighbors. So when they start the war in 1990, the government put Tutsis in prison. I was in Rwanda as a singer-songwriter, known touring the country. I was in prison for 6 months. So when they decided the government, they had a meeting. They said, having thousand Tutsis in prison, it does not help us. They cost money. Let us everybody go home. Then we kill them. That's the best way. So the idea of killing Tutsi started there. So we were supposed to go back in our village. They had to, not where you were living, you have to go where you were born. So when I came back, I was happy to leave the prison. My father was happy, my mother, but my father told me, don't think you are free. Don't think they want you to come back to be here, because they are going to start killing Tutsi. You're gonna leave the country, you must to leave. I told him, why only me? Why can't we go together? He told me, Jean Paul, I left the country when the kid Rudahigwa in 1998, 99, I was in Burundi. I came back. I cannot go. I'm old. I will die here. Just I want you to be protected. You flee. You go. You're still young. Tell your brother you need to go out of this country so you will survive. So I went to Burundi. It was 1991 in February. I went to Burundi. It was hard where I passed, because that time it was very hard to had roadblocks everywhere, but I managed to be in Burundi. So 91, 92, I was known there as a singer. I started to tour. So 1994, on 6 April, that's where they started to kill Tutsi. Kill them. Even neighbors who are Hutu, who are living together, even those who married, Rwandans intermarried. Can you imagine a man who is a Hutu? In 1994, because he wanted to show others Hutu that he's a really Hutu, he killed his wife. He killed his, it was terrible. So I lost my parents, my 3 brothers, and my sister during the genocide. And these are the months. Last month we were called Rwanda because we were remembering them. We are remembering them because this April, or every year, April and May are the months that are not good for us. And I'm happy you call me, and we talk about this in the perfect time.
Oh, so you lost your father, your
My
mother,
mother,
your sister,
Yeah.
and brothers.
Yeah, my 3 brothers.
When
My sister was living with her husband in
okay.
Varikapu. My father was living at home in Butari, it's south of, but he was living with my 3 brothers together. So how
did you get the news, and what happened in you?
Okay, and I got that time from May, April to June, because it took 3 months. To get the news was not easy, but things like that, you have to find, and you have to make sure you do whatever you do to get the news. The telephone was still working. We were calling all the time because people had telephones, and you ask people to go and see what happened. We knew every step by step. Also, the news we were hearing the radio. Then after we were calling people, the people has to call, and So I knew what happened, and but in July, at the end of the genocide, on 22nd July, because everything was stopped, I was among the first people who entered in the country, because I was in the side of the rebels. So when they took Kigali, I went there direct to my country, my village in Rwanda. I knew what happened, but I want to see myself. But I knew, I said, maybe my 3 brothers are now, maybe I will find them. So I went there. When I arrived to my house, the house was empty. I wanted to give them some pictures and nothing. So, and I tried to go out to see my neighbors. You will see one person there. Everything was calm. You don't see any. You see cadavers. Yeah, and it was terrible. Then I found a man called Emmanuel, who is a neighbor, and he was there before to arrive. He was saying, Jean Paul, Vincent, it's Vincent who killed your father. It's Vincent. Come. He was traumatized. I can see he was. Then I said, come. He tried to tell me the whole story, how killing started. Okay.
And Vincent was your friend.
Yes, a good friend. We played soccer when we were young, and he was the closest neighbor, and also a friend of my father. He was when my father wanted something, because he was old, but he could call Vincent. He was loving Vincent because Vincent was principal teacher in the primary school there, and I was teacher too, but I I didn't when I finished my school. I was supposed to be a teacher, but because I was a singer, I couldn't teach. But Vincent was teacher,
Vincent was a teacher, your family's friend, and he was your family's killer.
yes, and
it's so hard to even imagine.
He was my father loved him because my father was saying all the time that Vincent is smart, he's intellectual. Because my father, well, like when he was with Vincent, he was speaking French because my father loved speaking French, and they was speaking French with Vincent. So knowing that a very good friend of mine and a very close friend of my father is the one who killed him, that destroyed me because I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand that. So the first thing I did was when I learned that, when I was also asking questions to other people, how my mother and Emmanuel told me, say, actually your mother was going to survive, but she made a mistake. She knew that when she knew that your father is dead, she was in a hiding place. She came running, saying, "Oh, kill me too, kill me too. What the reason to be alive? I want." And they killed her even before to arrive home to see her husband, to see my father. So all those news, the only thing I did was just to find a bottle of whiskey and those traditional drinks and to drink, to try to forget. And the second day I slept. I didn't sleep in my village because there was no place to sleep. There was none. It was hard even to think to sleep there. I had to go back in Kigali. That time, there was no bus transportation. I had friends who were military. They gave me a car to go to capital.
What were your feelings when you think back to that? What were your prevailing feelings? Was it the betrayal, the loss, the anger?
To answer that question, it's more than that. I will feel. Let me tell you what that feeling that time. I composed a song directly after that, because me, when I'm angry or when I'm sad, the first thing I take a pen and write. Why? It's called Bimaziki Kuwaho. It's called what the meaning of living. In that song, I even saying to God that why you created me. I didn't ask you to create me. Why people kill others? Why being alive? Why being in this world? And I wanted to ask you a question. It's not anger. It's more than I was dead. I wanted to die. Yeah, I felt there's no reason to live. So I better go and follow my father and my mother. That's what that's the answer to give you to a question. So I was not, I didn't have that courage to kill myself. But this will go with me. That's killing yourself. That's why I will continue to tell my story and how that's killing suicide. That's killing yourself. That spirit started that time until it took 9 years. So every day I will kill myself by drugs, by those traditional drinks. It continued. It's followed me all the time until where I couldn't think anymore.
That is so powerful. I think I can relate to that. I think that That's so interesting to think about, waking up every day and just wanting to like basically be dead because you don't want to live in the life that you have. And it may
There
not.
is no, for me, they said there's no reason. There is no reason to live.
Right.
You come, you don't see us. Yes, of course, people were celebrating war. Oh, people. At the same time, people were celebrating. I was supposed to celebrate because I supported the RPF. I was all those years. Tutsis who were living after outside Rwanda, was everybody was supposed to support the cause of refugees returning home. It was a time people celebrating the returning home. All the refugees, Rwandans who are living abroad, who are living in Burundi, Congo, Tanzania, Uganda, they came back to their home. Everybody was celebrating. So people are celebrating for us instead to celebrate. It was hard.
Yeah.
So every day that spirit comes, then drinking all the time, drinking every day, try to forget, and also trying to survive, because life came back, people start to walk, I start to sing. So it take 9 years living with that trauma.
Do you remember those 9 years? Like when you think about them, do you remember that season, or is it sort of a dark memory for you?
I was, look, in those years, I got married. In those years, in 1995, I get married, and always there's something which will come and stop me living. Look, in 1997, we had our daughter. She was born. She was born with intellectual deficiency. She's 23 years old. She's in Canada. We had to leave Rwanda and Canada. My wife had to come in Canada because we couldn't. She was born with that disability. How do we call it? It's called intellectual deficiency.
Yes. And is there better care in Canada? Is that?
Yeah. She lives in the center where they treat those children. Then she goes on a chair. She cannot see. She cannot hear. She cannot eat. Even if they put a tube to feed her, so she cannot even recognize me. So she was born like that. Imagine you come from the genocide. You have children. Those children can help you to bring your life back, to make joy, and you have a child like that. So then that trauma, it adds to the trauma you had.
Yeah.
The child who was supposed to solve your trauma, the trauma comes again. So my first things was to drink again, to find more than. So I even came to Canada. And I stayed there with my wife, and we tried. Then we went along. We learned that the child will stay like that; he will not be healed. Because I knew that if coming to Canada, because my sister was here, so I told my wife, "Go, my sister is there; is gonna take care of us." She was calling us, "Bring your child here." I thought being in Canada in the hospital, everything there, then so she will be healed. But when they told me that she will not be healed, she will stay like that. I said, no, I quit. I don't want to stay in this country. There's no reason to come here. And I had trouble with my wife because why are you? No. And also my wife was, she told me one day, this is because of you, because of your trauma. Look, we have a child like that. So I thought, okay, thank you. And I believe that. I agree. I said, okay, I'm going. So I left Canada, went to Africa. I went back to Rwanda. So when I went back to Rwanda, because I had an album I recorded in Canada. I was successful. So I went there for a tour. But living all the time with that problem of one day we go to a stage, they will call me to come on the stage. I will not sing because I will fall down because of what get drunk before.
Okay.
It was very hard. In 2000, I couldn't sing anymore. I couldn't do anything because I was always drunk. I was always with drugs. So I became somebody who cannot show up on the stage. I would not honor my contracts. I had to leave Rwanda going to Uganda. When I went to Uganda, some of my friends said, Jean Paul, people, you need to find witch doctors because that's the way, because they wanted to help me. And for one thing, she must see witch doctors. So I couldn't say no because everybody wanted to help me. It was to take me where you want, because I was like those addicted and nothing to do. The first thing when we wake up in the morning is to take a drink. So I will stay there with my friends who are like me, who are drunkards, and until all witch doctors didn't want to see me because they say, no, we cannot heal you. You go to die. You dead.
It's a bad day when even witch doctors won't heal you. That must not have been a good time.
You waste their time.
Oh my goodness. So what brought it around? I mean, here you are. It's just going like this. I mean, it's just such a downhill.
And those witch doctors, normally they get money from the people who my friends were giving them, and they say, we don't want your money.
I mean, when a witch doctor's turning down your money, it is not good.
You are just that person. People see you now. You are dead.
Yeah.
So you were saying you are dead, and I wanted just to be. I was happy. Oh, okay. I want to be, but let me die. I want to die. So one of the witch doctor actually said, you can be healed only with those people who pray. One doctor said that. Witch doctor. So, okay. Somebody asked, you believe for those people who pray too? And the witch doctor said, yeah. For us, we use the satanic power. So when somebody praying in spirit and truth, we get burnt. So we feel fire. I said that witch doctor thing. That's why we always run house. We live here 3 days, 3 months. If somebody knows how to pray with the spirit, we feel burnt by the fire. So this man will be healed with those people who pray. I was like, okay. So I didn't want to hear anything about prayers, about God. And I told you that the song I composed about God. There is another song also I composed the same day in Rwanda. I forgot to tell you. It's a song. I asked God, where were you? Because that song, it's a proverb. We have a proverb in Rwanda that says, God spends a day away, but comes back to Rwanda tonight. Because it's a common proverb everybody knows in Rwanda. God will spend days in America and in Asia, but tonight he must come back and sleeps in Rwanda. So that's in that song. Say, okay, where were you that time? Why people killed others? Why 1 million people? Why? So that song it's very known because it speaks what the Rwandans want to hear. So now it was the time. Now the witch doctors has left me. So I said that you are a dead person. So I was waiting to die. Yeah. I said, okay. And I was happy. I'm telling you, I was happy to die. And I wanted to. The problem, I didn't have the ability to kill myself, to suicide. How the people do that? You go to suicide. You must have energy. I didn't have any energy to do that.
Yeah. Yep.
I was just, when I was taking this, I don't have a name in English of the small drugs and drinks I was taking there. They keep, it's just this, you cannot even put in your mouth. But for me, it was easy, like you take water, tea. It's hot. Yeah. So then another group of people, friends, said, okay, we have tried everything. We have tried Jean Paul with Hutu. Let us try to those people who pray to see. So they brought me to a prayer mountain, where it's a mountain known for miracles, people who have AIDS. We knew, but they're telling us, if you have AIDS and you cannot heal, you go to the mountain, people there will pray for you and you get healed. People who have cancer, it's a prayer mountain that's known. People get there, you go there, people pray for 24 hours. It's a Seguko prayer mountain in Uganda. So they brought me there, and people were happy to see me because I'm known in Uganda. I was very big, famous there. They said, oh, Samputu coming here. Only people who come there come to pray. But the way they brought me there, I didn't know I found myself there. So when I arrived there, they found me a tent. I was sleeping in the tent. When I woke up just to go to bathroom somewhere, because the bathroom you have to go. It's not those bathrooms though in the mountain forest. You cannot have a bathroom like in America. You have bathroom in your house. You have to walk somewhere there in the bush. So the next day, I found myself in the middle of people. I woke up like this. People were praying for me, hand by hands. So I was in the middle, and while they were praying, always praying, then I fell asleep. When I fell asleep, I hear a voice telling me, you will not die, Jean Paul. You want to kill yourself. You didn't create yourself. You don't have a right to kill a human being, which is you. You need just to forgive. Your life is in your hands. Accept, agree to forgive. Then you will be released. You will be free. Everybody stopped. They stopped praying and singing. They saw me with, because I was like this. Now they see somebody. So I told them, did you hear that voice? And I said, tell us which voice? So I hear a voice. I just heard a voice telling me that I'm free if I decide to forgive. My healing is in forgiveness. So I have to forgive the man who killed my parents. That's the voice telling me. So people start to say, God will tell you we are praying for you. God is telling you when we are praying, when you are in this mountain, here there is a power of God. So if you hear that voice, only the voice of God. So you need to do what that voice tells you to do. I said, I cannot. How can you forgive the man who killed your parents? I cannot forget that. I cannot forgive. No, I cannot. So now to have another, the anger started to come. So every day it will be like that. It took 3 months there. Always they prayed for me. So I start to see something coming. Energy, no drinks, nothing there. They were giving me milk in the morning. So I start to be good away, but I remained with that anger and resentment. They will not go away. They will baptize me. I became Christian. I go to church every day. There is a church every day. There people pray. There are many groups of people who pray there, who pray tonight. Every night they had to of fire, and the people prayed what they call the reverence meeting. So I was delivered. I was very good, but it remained that resistance not to accept that voice, even if I know it's God's voice. So one day I will wake up in the morning and I will speak myself. The voice will speak. I will go like in the morning, just everybody they're quite praying in your side. Everybody has inside praying. It's a big mountain. Then you will wake up. I will go walking and praying, but you just want to walk, and I feel myself speaking, and no, not me. That's how God, when He speaks, God, we come tonight by when we dream. You speak with someone, then also God's voice will come. What you speak, like I speak now, but not my words.
Yeah.
Then I will hear you become what you don't forgive. Forgiveness is for you, not for the offender. Forgiveness means to liberate from the bondage. Jean Paul, you need to choose forgiveness. It's for you. It liberates from. It's a process of getting out of your prison of resentment.
Yeah.
The power of forgiveness will help you to overcome your anger. So one day I said, so you cannot fight with God. So I had to choose between dying or living. So I wanted to live now. That time I said, okay, now I don't want to decide to kill myself, because it's I would say they were telling me you killing yourself, it's killing a human being, which is you. So you don't kill human being for another sin. So that time they were saying, no, forget about the spirit of suicide. So I had to say, okay, God, okay, now I agree. I'm going to forgive. Just because you say, I don't agree, but I respect what you say you are God, but I'm asking yes. The time I said yes, my feet was not on the ground. They was like this. I felt power. It was a great joy. I had a joy. I have cried with joy. It was the day. It was 15 March, and I was born in 15 March. The day I said yes was 15 March 2003.
I love that there was a process, because when you read your story, it's as if you kind of like had these 9 years of hardship, and then you went to the prayer mountain, you said yes, and then, life was great. But really, you say it was actually a day by day, like you had to really wrestle with God and make an intellectual choice. And God used your own voice to actually bring you to the place of obedience. Your own voice.
Yeah.
In beautiful words.
Yeah.
With your gift too. With your gift, your actual gift, since you're a singer. And I think for many people watching or listening, to know that God is patient and faithful through the wrestling, if you can just stay near Him when you can't forgive, stay near Him because He's patient in the wrestling. That's what I'm hearing. I mean, He's so patient with you. 9 years. 9 years of trying to destroy yourself. And then even after He speaks to you, still more months before you're ready to say yes to Him.
Yeah. Can you imagine that? That you even refuse to accept what He says, and He's God.
Yeah.
And He's say no.
So since then, I so much has happened. You reconciled with Vincent. You guys traveled and teach. But if we can even fast forward to now, because we're going to run out of time, how does forgiveness look like for you now? Like, obviously, that's this very dramatic, crazy story of your life really being given back to you by God. But just in your everyday life with your family and with friends, how have you been impacted by this experience when you get hurt, as I know you still do, because we're human?
No, forgiveness actually should be a permanent attitude.
Mm.
You will be in a home and you will have problems with disagreement with your wife.
Yeah.
And the first thing when you have that power of forgiveness, so the first thing it will not to revenge or to do something back. When you have that power of forgiveness, you will even laugh. You will say, instead of, some people revenge, human being must to revenge, then he will forget, he will try to forgive maybe later or after. But when you have the power of forgiveness, direct you respond to any action from the other. You have to, you answer with forgiveness, with the words of forgiveness. It depends on how you respond, by words or by action. You must to live with forgiveness. That's why Jesus they ask him, the disciples, how many times should we forgive? The answer he gave to them is like, when you 70 times multiple, it's like you must to do that. It must to be your permanent attitude. That's what the world needs. The world needs the culture of forgiveness, because we live in a world where there's only culture of revenge.
Yeah.
You see many movies in Hollywood. I always ask people, why every movie is just about revenge. Our children always watch the movie. It's like they preach to our children a revenge. That's a human being. That's nature. That's the logic. Even the politician, the head leaders, they first think about revenge. So it's a culture of forgiveness that we must to preach. We must to educate everywhere, in the schools. I know you know this, because you are a pastor. You know this.
Well, I know it, but in my heart, we always take a moment on this show and I ask a personal question, because I'm always learning from our guests. What do you do when you know that in your head, but you can't feel it in your heart? Which I've already learned so much just listening to your story, but I'm curious, if you're helping me and I am knowing in my head that I want to move on from a hurt or from an injustice, but I don't feel it in my heart, how do you get it into your heart?
So, first you need to love yourself.
Mm.
When you love yourself, you have to stop anything that comes to take away your joy.
Mm.
There is anger, there is bitterness, there is resentment. We always, human being always have to respond to anything. And by responding, you hate the other, but before to hate the other, you hate yourself. Even people who hate others, or who see the others are different, and you don't want to give them love, you kill yourself first. By when you don't love the others, so you don't love yourself too, because the other one is you.
That's so beautiful. Just you're killing yourself, you're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
And so the more you love yourself, the more you want to forgive because you see it, just like you said, when the words came from God for you, it was the way that you said it. It was like God saying, I have a gift for you. Don't deny the gift that this is. Like, forgiveness is a gift for you. It's not a gift for the other person. It's a gift for you so that you can have power in your life.
Actually, before to forgive others, I had to practice self-forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did those 3 months, for self-forgiveness, because I was fighting how to forgive myself first. So I will not give the others what I don't have.
Yeah.
Also, something I have to add to what you just said before,
Mm-hmm.
there is something people also try to protect themselves, thinking when they hurt others, they think they protect themselves. No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they miss that part.
So say that again one more time.
Most of the people, when they hurt others, they think they do for them. They protect
Yeah.
themselves, but they are not protecting themselves in hurting others. So most of the people, even intellectual people, they know that, oh, I'm protecting myself. That's why I have to hurt the other. I
Yeah.
have to hate you. See, they think like that. No, I'm protecting myself. They think it's protecting. Even if you ask them for their actions, they say, okay, we need to protect ourselves. They think it's protecting us. No, you are not protecting yourself. Because you will find those people even having fear. They live
Yeah.
with fear. And
So
fear,
yeah.
fear,
It's more bondage. It's more bondage than before. It's
bondage.
more fear. It's
Yeah,
more, yeah. It doesn't lead to love. It doesn't lead to an
yeah,
openness. It
yeah,
does the opposite of what you think it's supposed to do.
yeah. And you are
Yeah.
not free because you are not
Mhm.
free from so you will hurt others.
Yeah.
And you don't want just to hurt others. You have even love, but you don't know. Most people don't know.
Mm.
Mm.
So good. Well, Jean Paul, you said you might have a song for us before we wrap
Yeah.
up today.
Before to give you that song, there's something I have here written. I want to tell you to share with
I
you.
would love that.
Yeah, we are receivers of it's just why we have this culture of revenge, why we have these problems.
Okay.
We are receivers of inherited trauma and grievances from conflict rooted before our time. So our responsibility is to be good ancestors. Because where we are right now, sometimes you see conflicts in the world. Sometimes they are brought fight. When I told you the story of Rwanda and how colonized by Belgians, because a generation before our time, because they are not healed from the trauma in the past, they will pass on their trauma and the grievances to the other generation.
Yes.
And we find ourselves, living and in the cycle of violences and war and genocide, creating cycle violences. And how can we break those cycle violences? The only way is to preach forgiveness.
That's right.
The only way is the forgiveness.
When you say, I mean, we have a responsibility to be good ancestors. That is like so beautifully stated. It puts us in it puts us in the context of a lineage, but it also gives us a vision for something far greater than a life that we live day after day as if we're the only thing that matters. It's a love that's so expansive, and it's a word that our culture needs today so desperately. So I'm so grateful for that.
And to do that, it's not for tomorrow. It's now.
Yep. It starts now. I know it's an amazing power we have to break generational change. And it does start in your everyday relationships. It starts in the way that you love the people who are in your home right now. It's not just for people with dramatic stories. It's for all of us, because all of our stories are these big, glorious stories that God has given us. Even if forgiveness looks like forgiving your dad, or forgiving your sister, or forgiving your husband again today, whatever, even small ways, that is the way that we break those chains. And we begin to live in a culture that is love and freedom, not fear and protecting, which is only making life smaller. It only diminishes. It doesn't expand.
Yeah.
Sing us a song. Sing us a song.
Yeah. I've been, I was living in America 6 years, since 2004, 2005, 6, 7, until 2011. I was there in America touring it. I know, like 45 states. No.
Wow.
No. I know like 40 states. have been to many states singing, touring since 2004 to 2011, 12, 11.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that.
Okay, can I start?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
You become what you don't forgive. You become what you don't forget. Forgiveness is for you, not for the offender. It is for you, not for the offender. You're really enemy. It's not the other who wronged you. Your really enemy is your anger. Your really enemy is your bitterness. Your really enemy is your resentment. Forgiveness is for you, and it is for you. Forgiveness is for you. It is for you, for you, for you. Yeah, it is for you. You become what you don't forgive. You become what you don't forget. Forgiveness is for you, not for the offender. It is for you, for you, for you.
Thank you so much, Jean Paul, for joining us. I'm so excited to share your gifts, your wisdom, your music with all of our readers and listeners. Thank you for joining us, and it has been a delight to get to know you.
Thanks for tuning in to Let's Be Real with Nicole Eunice. We'd love to hear from you. Have a topic to suggest or a tricky situation you need help with? Send us an email or a voice memo to nicole@nicoleeunice.com and we may feature you on the show. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode.